would make the Department of Health primarily focused on being a vehicle that coordinates with the counties, coordinates with the extension services, coordinates with groups like the Cancer Society, addresses things like obesity, and becomes a much more focused bureaucracy. It's a smaller bureaucracy, but we would actually take and create more pure alignment between Health and Human Services at the federal level and Human Services at the state level, and then the Health would truly be an entity promoting things like fitness. And then we would move someone like Ed Thomas, who's one of the world's top fitness experts, buried in the Iowa Department of Education, over to the Health. We would take other entities like the health and nutrition components of the Iowa State Extension Services, and we would embed them in the county health departments, and then create a collaborative effort so that we have truly a department promoting health and illness maintenance. But for the sake of reorganization, you keep a Department of Health, you keep a Department of Human Services. And we'll talk about, reorganization of human services. Natural resources, you preserve that. Public safety and defense, inspection and appeal here. The public defender should be put within the Department of Advocacy. Right now, within the Department of Inspection and Appeals, you have the public defender. But in short, we collapse these bureaucracies. Again, this is an agency where the head of public defense would directly to the governor. The head of public safety or corrections would continue to answer directly to the governor. But what we would not see are, again, 5 or 6 or 7 different secretarial pools, etc. Transportation we keep. iJobs, well, we'll see what Governor Branstad does. Iowa Communications Network, we talked about the privatization of that. The Office of Energy Independence, we talk about that if you look at our website under the 10 Keys to Rebuilding Iowa's Economy. So let me hit back. One thing we want to address is circumvention of reporting that takes place. One prime example is the use of a permanent consultant class. This is an expensive and wasteful proposition. It's designed to make our administrations look good. Looks like they have smaller workforces. But, reclassification has been a problem at the state and local levels. For example, when we talk about education reform, we have a lot of people called teachers that aren't teachers. And we'll show how the economics of education is working in our state. But, we really have to address this whole reclassification category because it's just an expensive and wasteful aspect. Fix the board and commission structure. Iowans in 99 counties. Iowans in 99 counties deserve better. Now, I wanted to have a complete list of all the boards and commissions to show you just how many they are. But when I copied and pasted it in a document, it was just taking too long to clean up. So I'll just say there are too many. But also, and I pulled this page because, Iowa has 99 counties. Now, this is something that our Senate clearly doesn't understand when they're confirming people on boards and commissions. This is something our governors clearly haven't understood. I know when I was chair of a state board or commission, nearly 50% of the commissioners we had were from Polk County. This is just an illustration. I could pull probably most pages. 80% of the representatives on this board from Des Moines. We got Iowa City, Polk County, or Johnson County, Polk County, Scott, Polk County, Scott. Okay? I mean, there comes a point when you have to recognize that there are 99 counties in the state. Now, in addition to addressing the way in which we construct boards and commissions, what we challenge the next what Governor Branstad to do and the Senate to approve, because Senate has the power to confirm. Even if governors appoint, here's how governors have typically appointed people to boards and commissions. Did you help me get elected? Did you give me a check? am I doing somebody a favor? And maybe you actually know something. What we're saying is that boards and commissions in the state can be the policy engine, are designed statutorily to be the policy engine. And we need to see the governor use it as such. So a minimum of a third of those folks should be passionate advocates. A third of those folks should be people who actually have knowledge and expertise. And a third of those folks should be individuals who, you're going to have to bring that back down because I have to get back to my core parts. And a third of those individuals should be people who, you pushed it up. Yeah. A third of those people should be individuals who are able to get results. But beyond that, there should absolutely be geographic and partisan as well as gender balance. It's absurd that 80% of the people that serve on a board come from one county in a state with 99 counties. Now, institute real reform at DHS, beginning with welfare reform and requiring work and personal responsibility. And this is an area where we're going to hold the incoming administration's feet to the fire. Now, when I was on the campaign trail, I often talked about welfare reform. And once again, we're very data driven. Why do we start with addressing DHS and Health and Human Services? Because they consume 40 cents out of every dollar spent by government in Iowa. So one of the things we talked about was how under the Branstad administration and Republicans, basically all they required, they paid for everything, gave folks food stamps, and required them to get up and change the TV. Under Culver, they got the swipe cards replaced, the food stamps, and they got a remote with batteries. We talked about how under the Narcisse administration, we would first begin by asking, who's the dad and where is he? We'd also hand folks plastic cups because you don't get to be on dope and welfare under the Narcisse administration. Well, guess what? You ought not be able to be on dope and welfare under a Branstad administration either. And we have all the tough-talking Republicans that are now in control of the State House. Well, the bottom line is you need to fix the welfare state. The welfare culture in this state consumes, again, 40 cents out of every dollar in this state. You cannot just take and say, now that we control this, we're going to keep wasting money because now it's our buddies getting their pockets lined. So one of the things that we have to address, there are a couple of things. One of the things we have to address is leadership within DHS. Again, DHS spends billions of dollars. Here's what we see spent in terms of human services. FIP, which is a near $65 million plus program, Medicaid $3 billion plus, supplemental nutrition assistance program, food stamps nearly $500 million. There's a huge amount of money that we're seeing spent, billions of dollars. So the first thing we have to do is change the management paradigm. You cannot appoint a policy wonk. You cannot say to your head of DHS, just keep me out of the press. You cannot allow anecdotes or media stories to drive governance of this agency. The first and most essential reform of DHS must be to define a core mission of moving people from dependency to self-sufficiency, and the secondary thing that you have to do in terms of defining a new leadership model is to appoint someone who is a competent and able manager. Maybe they don't know anything about FIP or Medicaid or food stamps, but they know how to determine that the mission from the top is being effectively implemented at the bottom. The head of General Motors, I suspect, may never have built a car, may not know how to change spark plugs, but probably knows. Of course, that might be a bad example because of some of their recent challenges, but is more apt to be a manager who's capable of aligning practices and policies with effective implementation. So when we talk about reforming DHS, we must begin with talking about having a person who is a leader, who is capable of aligning practices and procedures. Now, this has been a problem regardless of policies, from Reagan to Obama, from Branstad to Culver, from Chuck Palmer to Chuck Krogmeyer, we have talked about moving people from